I went to go see Alien Romulus.
Yeah, I heard. I saw somebody tell me, "Oh, so trash," and then I had two other people come to me and go, "That was all right."
Okay, so I did not watch Covenant.
You're good. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, and Prometheus really dispirited me.
I sure did.
And a lot of the franchise has always been just, you know, like it saddens because I'm one of those people that's like, I fucking love Alien. I fucking love Aliens. I think Alien singular is probably greatest of all time. Like, I mean, I'll put that on a list against any other
cinema.
film. Aliens I like a bit less, but it's still fucking great.
That's a good ass movie.
And that's where we're at, you know? And hey, the black dude punching an alien in Alien 3, that's fun.
He gave it a shot, man.
But anyway, so this Romulus, here's what's up, in my opinion, and I will not spoil, but I will certainly talk about the stuff happening in the movie, and it's you know, leave enough for you to still go enjoy if you'd like. The Alien movie that is within this movie is great. There is a really great...
Oh, I know exactly what you mean by saying when you say that.
I'm qualifying, aren't I? Right?
Yeah.
So what you have is an awesome introduction to, like, you can go in. I was watching it with, like, you know, so Punch Mom, like, hadn't seen any previous of the franchise as well, and you get a really good look at, like, the Weyland-Yutani fucking dystopia. You get the horrible future underneath them, and you get a look at, like, what it's like in the colonies and some of that stuff introduced as well with the characters. And then, you know, after their setting and established, kind of like, you know, this is your ragtag group of teens, they go on their quest, you know, and once you get to the ship where the movie is going to happen, there is a nice, self-contained, isolated, awesome alien story that just takes place. A great space horror movie, in and out, that does a lot of really cool shit. You have to be aware of, it's like, okay, what are we going to get alongside this? We're going to get lots of references to things in the other franchise, sometimes heavy-handed, because you're going to get your the synthetics are always the coolest parts of these movies, right?
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Even in, yeah, exactly, right? Michael Fassbender is going to be fucking incredible, and you know, Ash and Bishop and etc. They're always fucking great, right? So yes, lo and behold, the synthetics are also just the fucking the awesome, the best part here. But you have to be prepared for like literal quotes from the previous movies being dropped in as a little right? Yeah. you have to be okay with that. And in some cases it's a wink to the camera, but in some cases it's like, well, if it's a synthetic that happens to be the same model type as a synthetic that we know, then it would make sense that they would kind of behave in the same kind of ways.
Yeah, all right.
Right. You can also, okay, so we know how we feel about dead actor CG face.
I don't like it.
It's not very good. It's usually very discomforting, and it's not there yet, but we're still doing it because it's close enough for most people, and they're like, hey, did we cross the uncanny valley with a fingernail? All right, let's go. Right? And so that's what's happening. However, if the uncanny valley problem you're having is with a character that is not human, then it can work a little better. You can accept it a little more in your heart, because you're like, well, the things that I'm creeped out by are the fact that it's not actually a person, you know?
Right.
So yes, dead actor CG face with
I don't like that.
with asterisk next to it, right? You put that on your card as well. Some real cool stuff happening in this contained space horror movie are alien isolation, actually relevant canon and referenced in such a way where walking around
that's good.
Walking around the ship, stuff on the walls little interactables on the walls from Alien Isolation
People
are
like Alien
part
Isolation.
of this world. It's really interesting and cool that they get that stuff in there. And you know, you can just be like, you can point and be like, hey there, I clapped when I saw it, you know. But it actually is like, no, you're uniting the universe in a way that makes it like, hey, this is consistent. You have these moments where I always like to, where it's like, can we learn more about the xenomorph biology without like ruining it, and or just expanding on it in a way that's like interesting and also like gives Giger style dicks and vaginas more concept art to horrify us with.
Yeah,
right?
because like the crux of the narrative in any good Alien movie is like, all right, let's find out some new biological detail that's actually really awful and I hate it.
Yeah, so we get some of that going on here where you're like, oh, cool, right. That's a nice little extra thing to figure out how this works, and you know, facehugger, chestbuster, etc. You get to see a little bit more about like what that process is like, and while you're doing that, you're not ruining it by having aliens running around in broad daylight, fucking killing the actual space horror movie. You know, they're still in the dark, in the shadows, being properly terrifying because they're off screen, out of camera. And you know, just a little hair on the back of your neck kind of thing. So it's cool to like have those little bits, and where when the time comes, practical effects actually, you know, very appreciated. You know, like you saw the trailer, right? So you saw that moment where like you see the little X-ray thing on the person, and you can see like oh shit, something's inside of them, and like it's a nice cool moment there. And then you get like actual use of practical effects that's like nice. I appreciate that shit. All
right, I'm gonna stop you right now.
Okay.
To make a slight detour about my hatred of anti-spoiler culture. This is going to be strange coming from me.
Okay.
I want to fight Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds, the day after Deadpool and Wolverine came out, tweeted, "It was so great to work with these actors," and had a group shot of everybody that was and so that got retweeted by somebody and showed up on my timeline, and I'm like, you fucking, it was yesterday, Brian.
He was
it was a week. He waited 1 week.
It's like, so he's been sitting on that photo for months, and it's been burning to get it out there, and that sucks.
So,
especially when that's the crux of what you're doing.
As I watch you fumble for your attempt to figure out how to describe the next part of Alien Romulus, I also scrolled past a news article going, "Meet the guy who helped bring the thing to life in Alien Romulus."
Well, that doesn't even, I know what you're talking about, and basically that sucks, but it also doesn't matter because everything about that sucks. Because you have a great space horror movie that's echoing the franchise as you do. Sometimes it's a bit heavy-handed, but that's okay. For the most part, it's working and it's doing a really good job. And what you have to do is in your homage, right? You always have Ripley's last stand, you know?
Right.
And there's always one more bit.
Yeah.
And the one more bit in this instance is basically we've been homaging all the old shit, and now the one more bit and everything to do with it is all the new shit, the current shit. Right.
I don't like any of that stuff.
And I'll elaborate a little bit more, but if you super want to be cold, then tune out here. I'm not gonna spoil super duper outright, but I'll just get a little bit more detail. The goop and everything to do with the
I
fucking
don't want to deal with the goop. The goop is like the worst thing to ever happen to the Aliens
The
franchise.
goop is the thing that represents the new direction of the franchise, and the fucking goop and everything about the goop sucks, and it fucking adds an end here that didn't need to be there.
You know what? I gotta say, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say something really brave. When it was Ridley Scott behind Prometheus, right? Like Ridley
Prometheus,
made it? Yeah. So Ridley Scott was so in love with the shot of David dropping the single drop of goop into that liquor glass that it showed up in every trailer and every piece of promotional material, because it's a really cool shot and it's really threatening, that he allowed that detail to go on and just fuck up every single fucking thing in Aliens really bad.
So I haven't watched Covenant, but just knowing that goop is a part of that too, from what I hear.
That's the Goop show.
Okay.
Alien Covenant is
okay.
Boy, you loved the goop? Well, here's a whole goop.
Prometheus's introduction to the goop, and then Covenant is the goop show. Got it. Okay. So, yeah.
You want to read the prequel comic about Deacon, the first gooper? I did not make that up. I did not make that up. That's real.
You had it's like a very clean opportunity for this isolated space horror story to actually not involve any of that. And even the timeline of when this movie occurs fits into the old, you know? And doesn't at all have to touch that stuff. But it feels as if the franchise wants it, demands there be some element of that continue, and so we must goop. And
so I actually want to someone in the chat.
So fine. It was totally fine up until the goop
responds with the goop is fine. The goops, that there's still a mystery to the goop, etc. And I violently disagree, because like the alien is supposed to be the unknowable horror of space, right? But you need to know something about it. And like I just described earlier, like finding out parts of the alien's biology is like the core plot of like almost every movie. Like, what does it do? Oh, it lays eggs in your throat. What does it do? Oh, it's got acid blood, you know, etc. And that's the criteria, right?
Yeah.
In every movie, you discover what? Oh, it's a fucking alien. And how do they do it now? You never find out why until Prometheus. And the why makes it so fucking lame.
Well, so the why that you do know from previous entries always pretty much needs to be because the corp is the bigger evil, not just nature.
Well, it turns out the engineers were also the corp, and they were also an even bigger alien corp evil.
That as long as you can go like nature is cruel, but the corp is crueler, you know, then you've nailed it, right? Now, does the goop facilitate some interesting artistic choices? Yeah, kinda. You can design you can make some concept art come to life because of the goop.
Would I tell you that's worth finding out, that the engineers were going to goopify the earth because of Jesus?
The goop on the cross.
Yeah.
The goop of Christ. With this goop, I share. Yeah, all right. This goop is my body.
Ridley Scott was smart to pull the Jesus stuff out of Prometheus.
This goop is also my blood,
because it makes the title of the movie being Prometheus like so overtly literal and ridiculous.
So if someone literally referred to the goop as Prometheus's fire, would you think that was cool?
Oh my God! Shut up! You shut your fucking mouth. You're please tell me you're making a joke. You're making a goop,
dude.
Oh, dude. You fucking This movie sucks.
No,
oh,
that's the problem. That's the problem.
Oh, no.
That is the problem. You can tumor cut out the goop and have a fucking great Alien movie. And the thing is, given what's been happening with the franchise too, they need a win. Right? This is what's weird. They need a win, and they have one. They made one. When I was talking about the trailer, who was the director that they got here? Let me just double check real quick. Fede Alvarez, director of Don't Breathe.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So he knows all about goop.
Yeah. Quite familiar.
Yeah.
With a turkey baster full of goop. The most familiar, absolutely. And Don't Breathe is fucking excellent. Great movie. So yeah, with this, I it's 100%. It's like a great a win. The win that the franchise needs is here, you know, and I just feel like I wish I could talk about it like the way Predators felt, where it's like, oh, awesome, just a great, finally, no bullshit. It was just a great movie, and it's got its references and fun bits and stuff, but no, fuck all that. It's just a fun watch. And here there has to be the but, and the but is like when you're seeing the goop work its way in, I'm like, okay, yes, I know, I remember Prometheus stuff. That's okay, it's fine. Back to the movie, you know, and then it starts being like, and then it's eventually you have to confront it, and it's the part that bums me out.
You know, it's really strange because, like, I think back to Alien, and I think back to like the titular Alien and the eggs and all that, and it's like you find the engineer, like the first engineer, as the actual alien, and then you find an alien that was so alien to the alien that it annihilated it. And that's the one that you're dealing. Like, it's so unknowable that the other unknowable alien that at least looks like a person also got horribly taken out by it.
Yeah, man, I remember when Space Jockey lore was just like, what the fuck is that? And then it's like, I don't know, but we're dealing with the bullshit around it over here, and that is a huge problem. Okay, that thing? Yeah, don't even fucking worry about it, bro. You know? And that was a nice little just... Yeah, the unknown, the recesses of our minds, the sovereign, right?
It takes, like, we're out in space and there are other spacefaring races that are a million times more advanced than us, and they're picking up weird shit that's you know, tearing them to pieces. What chance do we have? And it turns it into, oh yeah, the guy who had the eggs in his basement that he made for his own purposes, they turned on him.
But here's the thing, man, 10 times out of 10 you tell me Ridley Scott himself wants to make a space jockey movie and Michael Fassbender will be the synthetic. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go with it. Every time I'm believing in that.
I think Prometheus would have been such a good movie if they cut out the part where the fucking alien shows up at the end.
I would have,
if they just cut it.
I would have settled for and have been proper chuffed with the rolling thing, having them just run sideways. No, when they're running from the giant donut, the Springfield donut, when they just run from it, if they just ran sideways instead of in the path of fucking rolling death. But anyway,
I would have been chuffed too.
But so all this to be said, the space horror proper, the alien movie in Alien Romulus is the best shit I've seen in a while. It is really, really good.
And then when you get to the
there's one or two moments where you go, Okay, why'd that happen? Movie stuff, whatever. Don't overthink it, you know?
Characters in horror movies are notoriously stupid.
Right. It's not even characters, it's just like there's one or two moments where you kind of are like, why did the Xeno behave that way? Or what's with that little, okay, whatever, right?
Yeah, no, we'll be watching something and we'll be watching something that I've already seen, and Paige will be like, Pat, why the fuck did that happen? I'm like, so that the movie can happen.
Yeah.
So that the events of the television program can continue.
Yeah, there's some tropes, but I really do think it's good, and I really did enjoy it quite a bit, and to that end, I recommend it. I say go check out Alien Romulus. You know, you're not hitting that like early point of like the other Alien movies where you're like 30 minutes in and you're like,
oh,
okay.
Alien 3 has got to be like the fastest anyone's ever tapped out.
Is it just like, and they all died off screen?
Oh, I could, wow. I have no, well, because then you lose respect for whatever the ending of the movie you're watching is 10 minutes into the film. Like, well, why should I care what happens here? You just evaporated the end of the last movie.
What are consequences if not just contractual problems we have when we have to start filming the next movie? You know, I don't know. But just exactly, yeah. This
really annoying that I have to write for this child character. Wait a second, I have an idea.
But yeah, no. It's still worth it. Go check it out. But that's it. Just realize that we're in the Goop line, the Goop time now, and Goop time,
bro, you know,
is a part of this thing.
It just jumped into my head, and I need to ask you about Alien Romulus. This is my question. In Prometheus, there was one moment that, like, pretty early that just shattered my belief that these characters are scientists and, like, fucked me up for the whole movie. It's when they get into the inside of the alien ship in Prometheus, and they go, oh, yeah, there's air in here, and they all take off their fucking helmets.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Is there anything like that in Romulus that you're just like, holy fuck?
No, because they're not scientists. They're
great.
They're dumb kids.
Amazing.
They're
amazing.
dumb kids. And that goes a long way. You're like, oh, you dumb kids. The fuck do you know? You know? Yeah. You totally, you're absolutely, you're good to go on all that. And yeah, it's just there's a clear, I've never seen a more clear, like, the dotted line for the Phantom edit begins right here, and you can just snip this scene in the middle and then this scene at the end and just grab that credits and the final log, and there we go. We got a winner. You can see the fucking scissors snip lines along the film reel, man. I
think if I had to like put a point on it, I think Aliens is kind of screwed up as a franchise because it was never intended to be a franchise, and both movies were intended as being the final authority of their own setting.
I mean, yeah. Well, so you have, if you want to mirror this, you can go look at the Terminator franchise, where it's like, hey, can we move past 2? No. We tried, and every time we did, we failed, so we keep going. Yeah, never mind. We're going to go back to 2. Fuck that. Never mind. We're going back to 2. Okay, this time, guys.
It's interesting because
we're going to go
like
back to 2.
is there for both. And like James Cameron understands threat escalation in like a cinematic sense. So it's like, okay, first movie's about Alien. What could be aliens? And like, oh well, what do we do? Oh, we'll have people there to fight aliens, so that's not just the same movie where you're just hiding from a bunch of them. Great, done. Okay, Terminator, scary robot. Okay, scary robot that can look like your dad.
Yeah.
Right? Ooh, and turn into knives. And then after that, it's like, well, nothing's gonna be more interesting than i.e. can look like people. And what, like, oh, what the third one? Oh, it's stronger. It has a gun. Like, oh, scary. Ooh.
And tight leather because she's a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, sure, all right.
Oh, or you know what's better than a T1000? It has a heart for love. That rules.
Yeah, for love. Yeah.
Directed by McG. The 3 words that just get me more hyped to be in a theater than anything else.
It's amazing how long tertiary, non-important details can live in your mind. Because, like, you said Terminator 3, a movie that, Salvation, I think it is. I cannot remember anything out of Terminator Salvation other than the ending and, like, what you would see in the trailer. Like, that movie has evaporated. But what I can remember with, like, pinpoint precision is you asking who's turning the valve in the factory that the final sequence takes place.
I feel like I walked out of the theater and yelled at the top of my voice for 40 minutes all the way down St. Catherine Street to Atwater. Like, whoo! Why is
They're fighting in this decrepit factory, but it's totally automated, and there's all these valves and levers everywhere, and like there's no one. Like, what the fuck?
Why does that T100 have a red headband on? Why is there a pen on the desk?
It's a robot.
Who's writing? All right. No. So, anyways. This is there's a million horrendous ways these franchises can play out once they hit their peak.
Are the aliens searching for autism? Is the alien Romulus looking for autism juice?
That's the secret, right? Autism superpowers is actually the secret behind everything. This is true.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, God, Anyway, so this is off the rails, but this is all to say that like Romulus is got a very cool alien movie in there that's worth seeing. And you know what? If you are a Goop fan, if you're one of the people that's been like, nah, fuck you, dude, Prometheus ruled, then hey,
if you're like Goop 2024, let's bring it back.
Then you're gonna love it. You're in for a great time because you got good shit into the shit you like, so you're good to go. Yeah, absolutely. Goop nutters all get excited, get hype. It's going down. Okay.
I like the Goop better when everything that the Goop did was a new weird thing.
Yeah. No, the unknown, right? There is a power to also, like, there's a franchise staying power to the mystery that is anything is possible with Goop. You know?
Yeah. You can do anything. Even recreate the monster from the last movie. Jeez.
Gwyneth Paltrow makes anything possible.
Prometheus makes me re-examine whether or not I think Alien Resurrection is bad. I come to the same conclusion in that it's terrible, but it makes me ask the question in the first place.
Sigourney Weaver actually landed that blind basketball shot, and that makes it a good movie.
Yeah, and Ron Perlman almost fucked it up by going, oh,
yeah.
oh.
That's all.
Cut. That's why it cuts so soon.
That's all that matters.